Good evening, everybody. Welcome back once again to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. I am Edgar. I am your host for today. Tommy is in the building as we will be going over the events that took place this week on NXT, where Tommy and I take over this thing. We no Mr. Blood, no Toxic, just me and Tommy today. What's going on, bro? Welcome. How you feeling? How is everything over there in Illinois?
Surprisingly, a whole lot warmer than you think right now. We're getting like high 40s, low 50s right now. So it's actually getting a whole lot warmer than it was like a month ago. But overall, the show, had its ups, had its downs. Joe Hendry did his thing, but we'll get to that here in a sec. So, feeling good.
That's good, man. I'm glad to hear everything is looking up for you over there. And yeah, man, the show was hit or miss for me, dude, this week for NXT. It got to the point where I even messaged you yesterday and I was like, we should switch this up or something. Let's try watching or let's try going over AEW instead. I need a break from NXT. And then I was watching AEW today and I was like, nah, man, I think we should stick to NXT, bro.
You were like, wait, never mind. Stick with NXT. AEW's not it.
I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, AEW, there's like, they got some good stuff on there, but I feel like you got to sit through a lot of cringy stuff that I don't personally like to get to the good stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if it's worth it.
Tired of Mercedes Monet's fucking gimmick.
Nah, Mercedes, remember there was like some reports that went around, I don't know if you saw, but supposedly Mercedes Moné is taking a break from pro wrestling or something like that.
Really? After pretty much breaking Ultimate Dragon's fucking title record?
Yeah, see, and I don't know how that all worked out because this was like a couple months ago where she came out and she said, I'm taking a break. But I'm like, what's going to happen with all 37 belts that she was carrying, I completely forgot about that. I know she dropped one of the AEW titles that she had. She had the TBS title. She lost that a while back. And she's like, oh, I need to step away. I need a break from all of this or whatever. But I'm like, what about all the other fucking titles she had? Did she lose all of them? I don't know. But yeah, apparently Mercedes Moné has been taking a break.
Real quick for that to happen.
What happened?
I said she had to have lost them all real quick for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's interesting. I've completely forgot about that. I'm going to look into that, see what's going on with that one. But yeah, I just been watching AEW because I'm going to be going to their show next week, and I kind of wanted to be familiar with what's going on, And I believe they're having a. I don't know if it's this weekend. Are they having a pay-per-view? I don't know. But next week they're going to be in Sacramento, and I'm going to be there. So I was like, I'm going to watch some AEW. So I've been watching it for like the past few weeks or whatever. But boy. But we're here to talk about NXT, not AEW. There was something else that I wanted to bring up before. Oh, that's right. Okay, so we got a new general manager, right? And we have a new NXT champion on NXT. And Shawn Michaels told the new GM, which is, what's his name? Stone? Robert Stone?
Yeah, Robert Stone.
He said, things are a little crazy over here on NXT, and I kind of like it that way. So we've been seeing, that's what they've been focusing on. NXT has been focusing on chaos and craziness. So this episode had a lot of interferences, run-ins, pull aparts, people just beating each other up backstage, and it just seems like everyone is so stressed out and I got a lot of, it was like a whole lot of that, bro. And for me personally, there's only so much that I can take of that. like I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to go with like the excitement, craziness, wild TV show,
The
but
unpredictable side of everything being chaotic. But the problem is with everything being chaotic, some things are unpredictable, some things are very predictable.
yeah, and some things are just not not good. I mean, it's good to have some of that in there every now and then if it's needed, but it just seems like every segment in the show and every match in the show, that's what they try to do here. And I guess that's, I don't know, man. Is that what wrestling fans want to see nowadays? Is just chaos and craziness everywhere all the time? What do you
I
think,
hope
Tommy?
not. I really, really hope not, because NXT and AEW, from the clips that I've seen here and there, because there are some chaotic moments over there as well, it just goes all over the place, ups, downs, fucking sideways, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally don't really like it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, some things are predictable, like the whole Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dame thing. I called it from the start that they weren't over yet simply because of what happened with that open challenge. But other things are just like, what in the world is going on? It is very easy to get confused at this point.
Yeah, that's how kind of how I was feeling a little bit. And then after a while too, once you start seeing all of that for the 2 hours straight in every single segment, some of it like I don't know, you get kind of desensitized to it to the point where it's just normal. Like it doesn't even pop you anymore after a while because it's just like you kind of expect it to happen, you know? So it was just I don't know, this was a weird show. Has NXT always been like this? I don't even know. Like I guess maybe now I'm starting to notice it because they pointed it out a few times. And even Robert Stone was telling his own wrestlers of all people, you know how things work around here, you know how things are. Things here are crazy. So if you want a title shot, basically you have to do something crazy. And it happened a couple times on the show where the wrestlers were like, oh, okay, I have to do something crazy, right? Am I tripping?
I mean, it didn't always used to be like this. Look at like the black and gold era, the fucking rainbow era as well. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't all chaos like this. And that's the biggest problem, is the fact that, like you said, the entire show all the time is just chaos, 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 to the point where they're bringing it up like 3, 4 times in a single show.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, just stop the chaos and go back to how it used to be, where there was chaos here and there, but not all the damn time.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode was I guess they're going for like that non-stop total action type feel or whatever, but let's get into it. Joe Hendry, the new NXT champion, kicked things off this week on NXT, and this is the perfect way to kick off the show. The new champion who just won it last week in that chaotic ladder match that we saw. He comes out here and he cuts, a super babyface promo. How he's been crawling and fighting to finally get to this spot, and it's because of the fans that believed in him. People believed in Joe Hendry, but also he believed in himself, and this is just the beginning. Joe Hendry is just getting started, and the whole entire time I'm like, okay, it's wrestling logic that someone has to come out and interrupt Joe Hendry, and the big question is, who is it going to be? And it was remind me his name, Drake something. What is it?
I can't even remember his fucking name. The only thing I remember is the fact that it was the entire faction is the Vanity Project. I cannot remember for the life of me what the hell their individual names are.
Yeah, so it's this young kid. He's like 22 years old or 21 years old. He's the Evolve champion. And he just has like the most punchable face in the world, as that's, I guess, most good heels have. But this guy does not come off like a good heel. He just comes off as some punk fucking kid, right? And the two guys that he's with are just the most generic looking fucking white guys on the planet, that if you see them on the street, you couldn't even point them out because they just look like a bunch of nobodies. And I'm sorry, they're young kids from Evolve. They're trying to come up on the NXT brand, but I'm like, really? These are the guys that we're going to have to see versus Joe Hendry? Man, I guess, like, let's just get this over with just to get some title defenses for Joe Hendry so these guys could put Joe Hendry over and let's be done with it. But this was a rough start for me for Joe Hendry's title reign, if I'm being honest. But what'd you think, Tommy?
I do absolutely agree with you on that. The fact that the first title defense, in which we'll get to that later, but still was with a member of the Vanity Project of all damn people?
Yeah.
Seriously? I mean, this entire faction is supposed to be the stereotypical jerky jock college kid, which is exactly what they're being. Like, full blown. That is absolutely true there. But just because he's the Evolve Men's Champion does not mean that he's ready at all to be in the NXT title picture at all. Because he's truly not. He just got called up from Evolve. So he should not at all just be pushed right into the main event scene like this. I would not have done this whatsoever. Ava started this. Stone's going to keep it running, and I don't like it whatsoever. But it seems like that main title is not the only title they're going after, knowing the fact that apparently here in a couple of weeks, this was announced, there will be a tag team fatal four-way number one contenders match for the tag team titles. So I don't like it, but unfortunately, this is exactly what we're getting. More Vanity Project, which I get it with the fact that they're on the side of Ethan Page. They want to push them and put them in our faces as much as humanly possible. But at the same time, I don't want to see him on my screen more than I want to see fucking Brock Lesnar on my screen. I would much rather see Brock fucking Lesnar on my screen than the damn Vanity Project. That is how bad they are to me.
Yeah, and the Vanity Project were all over this fucking episode of NXT. Like, we saw them in the opening segment. We saw them. They had a tag team match at some point during the show. They had a backstage segment. Like, god damn, I couldn't get away from these fucking guys. And these guys, like, you know what they remind me of? They remind me of, you know how, like, when you go to, like, your local wrestling show, right? Say you go to WWE on your hometown, and they have a dark match and they have a squash match to put someone over, and they bring in local guys so they can just come in and get squashed to put over the talent that you're trying to develop. That's who these guys remind me of. They just look like local indie guys who are just there to get squashed. To get
squashed and done for.
That's what they look like, bro. All three of these guys. And I'm just like, oh my God. But yeah, that's what we got to look forward to, man, on NXT, unfortunately. So these three guys
go ahead. Like that at all. We really do not want to see them.
No. I mean, it's cool that they're on Evolve. I say keep them on Evolve, dude. That's like, Jesus Christ.
Like, and that's the developmental to the developmental.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So they beat up on Joe Hendry, and then that sets up a match for the main event.
No, it wasn't, and there was a couple matches from it.
Oh, that's right. It was at the top of the hour. You're right. The main event was the women's match too, which by the way was also a complete mess as well, but we'll get into that later on. So it set up a match. Joe Hendry's first title defense, literally a week after winning it, versus this guy, something Drake. I can't remember his first name, with the Evolve champion. So we'll get to that later on. But yeah, speaking of chaos and craziness, we go backstage. Robert Stone is talking to Keanu Carver, and Robert Stone says the worst thing you can possibly say to Keanu Carver, which is, oh, you want a title shot with Ethan Page? You know how things work around here. You have to do something crazy to get the champion's attention. And I'm literally thinking, bro, do you have any idea who you're talking to? And I think Robert Stone finally realized. He was like, oh, wait, no. You know what? Never mind. So I'm like, bro, you just gave him a free ticket. You just gave him a green light to go fuck shit up, man. But I thought that was pretty funny.
Like, dude, you literally just gave Keanu Carver the go-ahead to just ransack the entirety of your roster, even though he was just doing that anyways. So you literally just said, hey, you know this thing that you've been doing ever since you debuted? Yeah, go ahead and keep doing that. Like, that's really going to make it easier on you at all. Spoiler alert, no, it won't, especially with how Keanu Carver was during that ladder match. That in itself showed how dangerous this man is. And I'm sorry, Stone, but you just fucked up, dude. Plain and simple. You absolutely screwed yourself over telling Keanu Carver that he can basically just do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, for real, Doug. I'm like, bro. I mean, to be fair, this is Robert Stone's first week, technically, as interim GM?
Unless you're counting last week.
Yeah. So I guess he's got a lot to learn, apparently. At least that's what it seems, So then, okay, so the opening segment was the NXT champion gets beat up by 3 annoying heels. And then we go to this backstage segment with Robert Stone telling Keanu Reeves, go do whatever the fuck you want on this show. And then we go from that, we go to Jada Parker walking to the ring, yelling at the camera, yelling at us like she's pissed off and she's kind of promo on fucking Blake Monroe. So it's just like back to back, just everyone is just jumping at you through the screen. And Jada Parker and Blake Monroe, they're getting ready to have their match. And to me, this was the best thing on the show because it was a singles match. It's a clear baby face that the people love versus Blake Monroe, who's a good heel. And these two are opposites. Blake Monroe's the glamorous blonde girl. Jada Parker is like the beloved, I guess you can say like more hood, she's got more attitude. So it's like complete opposites, right? But the people love Jada Parker and they beat the crap out of each other, dude. It was a good match. Like these girls are pissed at each other. They want to get their hands on each other. There's heat here between these two. And they go off the ring. They're beating each other with the steps. And then they just keep fighting out the ring. And then boom, the fucking, they get counted out. The ref calls for the bell. Match is over. And then they keep on fighting. And then security comes out and more chaos, right? Because this is what this whole episode was about. Chaos, chaos, chaos. But for this, I liked it because this feud is just getting started. And it ended in a count out. Which means this is going to continue. And who knows what's next for these two. But I'm interested to see.
This is going to be a very interesting feud. Because Jada Parker, holy crap, this girl is good. Plain and simple. And then you've got Blake Monroe, who once again is not afraid of a fight. even though from time to time she is, but most of the time she's really not. And because
Uh,
of the double count out.
hold,
Fuck.
hold on. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Start over where
Okay.
you started saying Jada is good.
Okay. Jada's really, really damn good. She's definitely not afraid of a fight. Neither is Blake Monroe. Sort of. She has her moments where she is, but when it comes to going up against Jada Parker, no, the hell she's not. This is going to be one hell of a feud. I will gladly tell you that. So I'm really, really excited to see where in the world this goes. But after all of this, Jada Parker posted a little promo herself, basically saying, hey, you evaded me this time, but next time it won't be so easy, is essentially what she said to shorten it down. But it's very clear this ain't over. It's not going to be over anytime soon. And this is one of those feuds where I'm absolutely like glued in to see what in the world this is going to end up leading to. Because it's very clear that this isn't just going to be a one match thing. Hell, not even 2 or 3. There's probably going to be more than that. This is probably going to end up being the same thing as main rosters Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade, probably. I would not be surprised on that.
Which I'm down for. I mean, after this match, I do want to see them get their hands on each other again, you know? So I thought this was a good finish for the start of this feud, for this match, a good finish for the match. And it, I guess, relates to the theme of this episode, which is fucking chaos everywhere, you know? And it continues with a speed match. And again, this is a speed match, and this is what these wrestlers go for in these types of matches is speed. Let's do everything super fast because they have a 3-minute time limit. And it was Josh Briggs versus another kid from Evolve named Knight. Something Knight, Eli Knight, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So again, 3-minute time limit. So these guys are going back and forth nonstop at each other, 100 miles an hour because everything has to be chaotic. But it's just a speed match, random match with two guys who have no beef, no feud, no heat, no nothing. And the winner advances to face. Let me get the name of the speed champion because I always forget his name. And we got to get this one down because we talk about him a lot.
We do, but the problem is we don't ever remember his name.
Yeah.
Like, we only ever remember his gimmick.
Jasper Troy.
Yeah.
So, okay. And I forgot who the other competitors are. This isn't even a tournament. This was just like, I think 4 guys. We have 2 matches, and the winner of those 2 matches face each other in the finals, and then the winner of the finals faces Jasper Troy, right? And this is one of the matches. The guy from Evolve won, Eli Knight won with the damnest fucking moonsault I've ever seen, and I don't mean that in a good way. And again, this just goes back to, because everything has to be chaotic and crazy and it has to be like moving at 100 miles an hour. I think this kid just maybe got a little bit too excited because Josh Briggs, where he was positioned, the kid Eli Knight goes for the moonsault, and instead of landing on his, with his torso on Josh Briggs, on his torso, like usually you're supposed to on a moonsault, he fucking either does the moonsault too short or Josh Briggs is positioned himself too far that he lands knees first on Josh Briggs right on his fucking chest. Like the worst way, like all of Eli Knight's weight are coming down on his knees first, and he completely missed the moonsault and just fucking got his knees right on Josh's Briggs' chest. It looked fucking horrible. It looked painful as fuck. And I felt bad for Josh Briggs, but luckily for him, that was the finish of the match. He didn't have to do anything after that. But yeah, I was like, God damn, bro. I would not want to take a moonsault from anyone moving that fast. Like, because this kid clearly, because it's a speed match, he just jumps up the top rope and he just does the moonsault really quick, you know? And he's not looking. He doesn't know where you are. He wasn't paying attention to where Josh Briggs was laying down, and he just fucked him up, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah, Eli definitely had some issues here, for sure, as you said. But what I find more interesting is what that final is going to be. It will be Eli Knight going up against the French luchador that I can never, ever properly pronounce the name of.
Damn, something Lafleur.
Yeah.
No, Leon Lafleur, I believe.
Is it Leon? Are you just thinking
Oh
of Slater
no,
right now?
I'm thinking Leon Slater, huh?
Probably.
Fuck.
But yeah, I
I
know
don't
it's
know.
we know it's something Lafleur. We have no
Yeah,
clue how the hell to pronounce the beginning of it. But that one, when it comes to speed, that's going to be a very, very interesting match there. But Josh Briggs, good luck. We wish you luck, man. Just plain and simple.
Yeah, bro. He looked pissed too after that. Like the referee was checking on him and he's just like, hurry up. And then he just rolled out of the ring and got out of there. I would be pissed off. I know shit happens in the ring, but that shit to me just looked fucking careless as fuck. Like, there's some things that, okay, yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. Shit happens. But this right here, that could have been avoided, I feel like. But hey, it is what it is. All right, we got to talk about the tag team division because the Dark State showed up and they all had to cut a promo. All five of these guys from Dark State each had something to say. One of them was Dion Lennox, who I believe is the leader of Dark State now, because he's the one that has the most singles matches. He gets showcased the most. I believe he was cutting the promo about the NXT Championship, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then the other guys were talking about the Italian guy. What's his name again?
Oh.
Uh, he just fucking came back. He was from Tony D'Angelo. I don't know if he's Italian anymore. But goddamn, dude, even these promos by the Dark State are just like, oh my god, they were I mean, to put it in simpler terms, just not good, bro. I didn't believe a word these guys were trying to say to me. One of the guys looked weird, like, because he was wearing a choker and then his hair was all up in his face, like all emo. And he was wearing like a cross earring and he was making weird faces at the camera. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here, dude? And then the only guy that I really like from Dark State, he's like the smaller guy and he actually sounds genuine. He's like the smaller guy out of all of them. Let me pull up his name because I want to be sure who I'm talking about here. Let's see. Dark State members. NXT. Um is it okay. Can I get pictures? I want to get this right. Um I think it's Osiris Griffin. Let me see. Osiris Griffin is the one I'm talking about. No, it's not Osiris Griffin. That's the guy that had the emo look and was making funny
Oh,
faces at the camera. Saquon Sugars. These names, bro, are fucking insane. That's
they
why
are
I can't
not good at all. Dion Lennox is the only one that's good.
Okay, Saquon Sugars, and they spell his name Shugars.
Yeah,
He's the
just completely misspell sugar.
yeah, he's the best guy in Dark State. He's the most entertaining. His promos sound somewhat for real, somewhat genuine, and I think he's the most entertaining one in the ring so far that I've seen out of all these guys. So the only one that actually I thought was somewhat interesting in this whole fucking thing was him. But all the other guys from Dark State that were talking were just, I was just like, man, just hurry up and get it over with. But what'd you think about this promo? Because so much shit happened in this segment.
I'm being completely honest with you, Snug. This entire segment was in one ear and out the fucking other. I didn't really give a shit whatsoever. Like, Dark State as a whole has kind of gone downhill for me. Like, except for Dion Lennox. What they're doing with him is great. But
Yeah.
the rest of them really has only gone downhill for me because of the fact that we don't really see them shown much at all. Like, we see them in backstage segments, but when it comes to like in ring, we get almost nothing from the rest of them except for Dion Lennox.
Yeah.
So this entire tag division, this entire tag segment with Hank and Tank and Out the Mud, it was just in one ear and out the other. I just really didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Because okay, so they got interrupted. The Dark State got interrupted by it was Shawn Spears and his tag team partner from the Calling, which I thought, okay, I would, I like Shawn Spears and the guy that they partnered him up with, he's got a good look too. So I'm like, okay, I would like to see them go wrestle the Dark State, right? But then the lights turn off, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, okay, Out the Mud shows up with Dark State's
Dark
entrance.
theme too.
Yeah.
Like, lights go out, the fucking spotlights start going everywhere, which is usually the sign of Dark State when all of a sudden Out the Mud is in the damn audience.
Yeah, so for a second, I was like, oh shit, this is cool because we saw Shawn Spears and the Calling show up, and then they turn off the lights, and it's like, what the hell? Who can this be? And it's Out the Mud, and it's just like, ugh, okay. Not that I don't like Out the Mud, I do, but like, you don't have to turn the lights off for Out the Mud of all people. You get what I'm saying? Like,
they have
it was just
theme. Their theme is really damn good and fits them well. Is it literally just because of the fact that they said they wanted to take a page out of Dark State's book and decided, hey, we're just gonna come out to their theme now?
okay, so what did that do? We're gonna come out to their theme, give them a piece of their own medicine. Is the Dark State afraid of the dark or something? Like, oh, they don't like the dark, so we're gonna turn the lights out on them. That'll get them. That'll show you. Like, bro, what?
Like, oh, they're afraid of the dark. Really? Because the dark is literally their entire entrance.
I guess so. So now we have 3 teams out there, and they all want the tag team division. I'm like, okay, and now I see where this is going. And then Hank and Tank show up.
The Belly Boys.
Yes. And I like Hank and Tank too, man. But yeah, I mean, again, more chaos, more craziness because they all just start beating up on each other, right? Because, of course, they have to.
Yeah. And like I said, this entire segment was in one ear and out the other. I didn't really care much about it.
All right, and then we go to the NXT Championship title match that everyone's been waiting for, right? Which is Joe Hendry versus Drake, whatever his name is. And
Andre Drake? No, that's
let
Andre
me
Drake.
look. I swear, bro. Like, you would think that by now, after reviewing NXT every week for the past what
That
two,
we'd be
three
able to
months,
get these names, but the
but
problem is they're all so dumb that we forget them.
yes, they're terrible. NXT, I know, Evolve champion Drake. Who's the Evolve? Jackson Drake.
Yeah, Jackson Drake. That's what it is.
Oh my God, bro. Like these names, I'm telling you, bro, they're so forgetful. I don't know, bro. So, okay. Thank God for Joe Hendry, man. Because Joe Hendry, he was actually out there trying to have a halfway decent match, a halfway decent wrestling match. Because I've seen this guy, Jackson Drake, wrestle before, and he's just like every other. He just reminds me of like every fucking guy in AEW or like in independent wrestling that just does all the crazy spots and the crazy flips and the all that stuff, right? But he they put him in the ring with Joe Hendry, who's like a pro who's been wrestling for a really long time. You know, he knows what he's doing, and you can say he's the veteran here. So the match was actually not that bad. The only thing that I do have to complain about, right? There is a spot in this match where the generic guys from the Vanity Project attack Joe Hendry. They beat up on Joe Hendry. They throw Joe Hendry to the steps in front of the referee. And I thought, okay, it's over, right? That's a DQ, right? No. The referee just says, you're out of here. And that's it. No DQ, no nothing. The match continues. These two guys beat up the champion in front of the referee. This should have been a disqualification, Tommy. Am I being crazy here?
You're really not. It absolutely should be. Because the entire point of it is if somebody gets involved and decides to attack one of the people in the match is over. DQ right then and there. You don't just kick the people who did it out. That's not how this works. Like, does the ref seriously need to go back and look at the damn handbook again or some shit? Because that's what it seems like.
Oh boy, so I'm like, okay, so this match continues. Great. We got to sit through more of this, right? But luckily, after a while, thank God, Joe Hendry got the win over this kid, Jackson Drake. So Joe Hendry got his first title defense, but it wasn't until, they gave Jackson Drake a major rub here. They made him look good. He got a false finish on Joe Hendry. But goddamn, bro, I'm like, can we just get this over with already? Because, I don't know, bro. Wasn't, I mean, the action was good, because again, they go for chaos. They go for nonstop, back and forth, and the match was exciting and everything. But after a while, it's just like, all right, let's just get to it.
Yeah, like Joe Hendry tried his best. He really did. But Drake over here, no. Like I said before during the beginning segment, just because he is the Evolve champion does not mean that he is ready for main event NXT. Like, at all. He's really, really not. So as soon as this match was made, I knew who was winning for sure. There was no possible way that Joe Hendry was losing this title. Plain and simple. So for this match, I should have cared about it, but I really didn't, for the fact that it was completely obvious from the start that he was not losing the NXT title. After everything that it took just to get him to have that title throughout the last year to 2 years, it just wasn't happening whatsoever. He was not losing that NXT title.
No, yeah. And this is, NXT, they're trying to, okay, we got to get the new NXT champion over there. We got to get him over, get some wins for him, make him look like the fighting champion that he is. And we're going to take advantage and we're going to showcase Jackson Drake, who's the future of NXT. He's the Evolve champion. So it's kind of like, okay, let's kill two birds with one stone, which, okay, perfect. They're taking advantage of this opportunity to, put this kid over or whatever, make him look good. So they're using this kid, Jackson Drake. All right, I get it, right? But also at the same time, it's like they're shoving this kid down our throat and he's so fucking annoying. And I don't mean that in like he's a heel, he's supposed to be annoying. No, this kid genuinely looks like a douche. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it, dude, but it's just not it for me, bro. This was not it for me. But I'm afraid we're going to be seeing more of this vanity project, right?
Unfortunately. Like I said in the beginning, I would much rather see Brock freaking Lesnar on my screen than the Vanity Project, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Yeah, so speaking of the Vanity Project, they had a tag team match versus Hank and Tank, and the chaos continues and the craziness doesn't stop because Hank and Tank they're good, man. Hank and Tank are a gimmick. They're entertaining. They look different from all the other tag teams, right? Because they're crazy. They're a little bit bigger. They have the crazy hair. They wear the hockey jerseys, And they put them up versus the Vanity Project, which look like fucking WWE wrestlers that you can create in 2K in like 2 minutes. Just put some purple tights on them, put some hair on them, and that's it. They have horrible tans. They just look like shit. These guys look like shit. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then to make matters worse, they have a highly competitive match versus Hank and Tank. And they beat the crap out of each other and they go back and forth for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, God damn, it's taking Hank and Tank this long to beat these guys from Evolve. Okay. And then they have a run-in where the tag teams try to come out again during this match, but the referees and the security guards are holding him back. The referee gets distracted. Jackson Drake hits either Hank or Tank with one knee after everything these tag teams have done to each other for 15 minutes in this match. It took one knee and a roll up for the Vanity Project to get the win on Hank and Tank. Fuck.
And right after this, there was another backstage segment with Stone where he full-blown went, hey, you lost. You two won. So that triple threat's going to end up being a fatal four-way for number one contender because it was just going to be a triple threat. Now it's a fatal four-way. I don't like it. Vanity Project entirely. No. I can't with that. I really can't. Like, I just can't with this entire faction. They need to go away. Like, they need to skip Evolve entirely and go back to the damn ID program at this point. Like, they need way more than just developmental on Evolve. Plain and simple on that. But Hank and Tank, just like with Joe Hendry, they tried their best here, but the biggest problem is the Vanity Project. They just drag almost any match they're in down, which is why I'm so worried about that Fatal 4-Way, because we got three great teams here within Hank and Tank, Out the Mud, and Sean Spears and his guy, The Calling. And then you add the fucking Vanity Project. I am so hoping right now that the Vanity Project does not ruin that match too.
So this is a what? This is supposed to be a number one contenders match. Whoever wins faces Dark State.
No, there was originally going to be a triple threat for number one contendership here in a couple of weeks.
Right.
But that triple threat was then turned into a fatal four-way after the Vanity Project beat Hang and Tank.
Right. But it's still a number one contenders match is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that fatal four-way is.
Yeah, because this happened in a backstage segment with Robert Stone again, who agreed to this because, let's just make things more crazier and more chaotic because that's the point of NXT.
And make my job a whole lot harder.
Yeah, because, Eli or Jackson Drake was like, I didn't win my match versus Joe Hendry for the NXT Championship. Which, by the way, it's crazy that he even got a fucking title shot. This guy, whatever, Jackson Drake.
I would have much rather have seen Miles Bourne, in which he also talked to in this segment, than fucking Jackson Drake.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Jackson Drake, I forgot to mention that after his match with Joe Hendry, Ricky Saints showed up and attacked Joe Hendry. Did you see that part?
Yeah, that's right. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, fuck, that's a match that I actually want to see right there, you know?
That should have been the first match for Joe Hendry.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool, but I mean, right now, I think that is the biggest main event match for NXT. I think Ricky Saints versus Joe Hendry, they should have it, but I think that's going to be one of the matches for like a big PLE for NXT.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not getting it sooner. But still, that match is going to be a banger when it happens.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be pretty cool. So that happened with the tag team division, and let's have a 4-way tag team number one contenders match, and it's gonna be all over the fucking place. So who you got, Tommy, to win this one next week?
God, I hope the Vanity Project doesn't win. I just don't want that at all. I think the best shot, I'm back and forth between two right now. That being Hank and Tank and the Culling.
Yeah, man, me too.
Like, I'm back and forth between those two.
Yeah, I think either of those teams winning it would be a good match.
Especially with Hank and Tank, knowing the fact that Hank and Tank are the ones who lost the tag titles to Dark State.
Yeah. And because of that, because those are the two teams that I would like to see, and because it's WWE, I'm afraid that Out the Mud is going to win. And we're going to have to sit through Out the Mud versus Dark State, which I feel like we've already seen that a couple weeks ago. Right?
Yeah, we already saw it. Which is why I would really love to see, like, my main thought process is the Culling, because that's a match we haven't seen. Hell, Shawn Spears hasn't really been in-ring action for a while now. So to have that match going on, which is a match that we haven't seen, like, at all, keep it fresh. Like, bring that to me right now. I'd pay for that.
Yeah. Yeah. But knowing that, again, because it's crazy, chaotic NXT, I have a feeling that everyone and their mamas is going to run in whatever tag team match that they end up having, and they're going to be, let's turn it into a 5-way tag team match with ladders for the NXT tag team championships, because chaos and craziness, Tommy.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised knowing the fact that there's 5 of them, and then there's 8. There's fucking 8 guys already there in that tag match, which means it's only a matter of time before Dark State goes, hey, this is for number one contenders for our tag titles. Time to go after all of them.
Yeah.
Them going after everybody is their entire thing.
All right, Tommy. Well, since the theme of this episode is crazy chaos, the main event was also the same as the rest of the show. And again, I don't mean that in the good way, because this was a number one contenders match for a singles title, which is the Women's NXT Championship. And that was determined by having a tag team match. Yes, you heard that right. A tag team match is going to determine a number one contender for a singles title. Is that correct, Tommy?
Yes, it was whoever gave the pin or gave the pinfall would be number one contender, which ended up being my girl, Sol Ruka.
Yeah. Yeah. You better get that right. Make that correction, because I'm not claiming Sol Ruka, especially after this match and that finish. Okay, so the match was Sol Ruka and Zarya were in a tag team versus Kendall Gray, and the other girl was, I always forget her name. Do you remember her name? Ren Sinclair, right?
The Ren QC, as they like to be called.
Yes. So Zarya and Sol Ruka have been having their issues where Zarya is jealous of Ruka because Ruka gets all the opportunities all the time and Zarya doesn't. And in the other team, you have two good friends who get along just fine and they respect and love each other. So clearly the other team has the advantage in this situation because it's a tag team match, right? In a tag team match, you want to win with your tag team partner. But because of this ridiculous stipulation, Zarya and Sol Ruka did not want to win as a team. They wanted to win individually, so they were breaking up each other's counts. Yes, the tag team partners, when one was pinning their opponent, the tag team partner would run in and break the count. So it's just like this. I've never seen a tag team match where they made it that you don't want to see one team win. Like that part to me just made no fucking sense. I understand what they're doing. I understand the story. I follow it, but it's like, why have a tag team match then in that case? It's just, I don't know, man. It just seems insane to me the way that they did this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So here's the question. What the hell does Zarya have to do to fucking get a title shot? Like, what does she have to do? Because she absolutely deserves one. Why in the world is NXT going, hey, Zarya, we know you're loved. We know everybody wants to see you get a title shot. But we're not giving it to you. We're giving it to the person who literally gets title shot after title shot after title shot after title shot. What does Zarya have to do? Like, who the hell does Zarya have to kiss up to just to get a damn title shot at this point? Because this is getting ridiculous with her. Because she said it before. Sol gets everything practically handed to her at this point. But Zarya is stuck in the background in Sol Ruka's shadow, which absolutely sucks. But this sucker ended in a spear from Zarya onto Ren Sinclair, and then a soul snatcher onto Kendall Gray, who apparently was the legal woman. I thought it was Ren Sinclair. It was not. It was Kendall Gray. So Ruka is now the number one contender, and I believe in Georgia here in a couple of weeks, will be facing not Jordan Grace. Yeah, I'm fucking thinking of SmackDown right now. But she will be facing, why? JC Jane.
Yes.
There we
Yes.
go.
Yes. Yeah.
What in the world is up with that? But still, she will be facing JC Jane here in a couple of weeks for the NXT title. I don't like this decision. I really don't. I feel like it absolutely should have been Zarya here, because that is a match I would not mind seeing. Zarya versus JC Jane for that NXT title. I wouldn't mind it. But the problem is, once again, we're getting Sol Ruca in a title shot. And at this point, I just feel bad for Zarya. Because like I keep saying, she's just being tossed to the damn wayside.
Well, I think by the stuff that we saw throughout this episode of NXT, where the general manager was telling his own wrestlers, if you want to get on my good side, you have to do something crazy. Well, Zarya is going to have to do something crazy and chaotic and snap on Sol Ruca finally, turn on her finally,
during
betray her.
Title match. Would probably be a spot.
And maybe this is how they do it. Maybe Sol Ruca is going to win the Women's NXT Championship. And then we're going to see Zarya versus Sol Ruca for the Women's NXT Championship.
And I feel like at that point, Zarya would win it.
And I would like to see her win it. Because again, I'm not a fan of Sol Ruca or her wrestling or her Soul Snatcher. Like, I know it looks cool and a lot of people love it. Shout out to Tagar Laga. They're clearly pushing her as a monster heel, but she's not getting any Brock Lesnar treatment. I believe by she, I think they're talking about Zarya.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I feel like I've seen Sol Ruca miss that Soul Snatcher more times than actually hit it. I feel like she has like a 50-50 chance of hitting it because it's such a complicated move. Like, you're doing it blind. You have to basically wait on your opponent. Your opponent has to time it perfectly to dive in at the right moment for Sol Ruca to hit it. It looks cool, bro, but just get a new finish that you can actually hit. Like this on this match right here, Zarya Sol Ruca completely missed it, and I don't know whose fault it was. It doesn't matter. Point is, it looked like shit, and it kind of ruined the finish to this match, unfortunately. But yeah, Sol Ruca won it. She's going on to face JC Jane. Zarya is not happy about it. This whole situation, this whole match got me so frustrated that I actually wanted to see Ren Sinclair win it. Just cause, like, I was just like, bro, I just hope she wins it. And just that's it. That's the whole thing I was thinking the whole time.
Like, I like that Soul Snatcher as a finisher, but the biggest problem is, as you said, it's not that consistent. And I feel like it is a glorified RKO with a backflip. That's pretty much what it is. And Randy Orton just does it better without the damn backflip at this point.
Yeah. So that was the main event of NXT. And do we know what we're going to have? Okay, next week is that Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match, I'm assuming, right?
I believe so. We've also got Lola Vice going up against Kiana James.
Okay, that should be good.
And I cannot remember for the life of me what the other matches are.
We'll probably see more of Ricky Saints after he attacked Joe Hendry, which that should be interesting. And that probably some more Speed Champion stuff. I don't know. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens next week with NXT. Probably more chaos, more craziness all over the place. So we have that to look forward to. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the review with NXT. Thank you guys for joining. If you're new, please be sure to follow us on all of our socials. If you didn't catch the full episode, if you don't catch the live episodes, you can catch them on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We have hundreds of episodes where we just talk about wrestling. So go check those out right now. Hit us up at Snug Wrestling. Tommy, let's get out of here.
All right, you can also come back here Monday and Friday right after Raw and SmackDown for our reviews of those as well. So also, here in a couple of weeks, we've also got predictions for the Elimination Chamber here in 2 weeks. So that's going to be one hell of a thing as well. So, get your merch. We've got hats, shirts, shorts, fuck it, everything you can think of at this point. We can also come back here, at least on TikTok Live, on Thursdays with Snug and Mr. Blood for their one-on-one where they go through relevant and recent wrestling topics. So, that was one time for the one time. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.
Real men don't yeet.